this car. It's loud, it's raw, and it's exactly how it drives. But it's not just about that. There's a story behind this one, a deep one. To really understand Eleanor, you have to go back. Not to the early 2000s, but to the big screen.
That's the original Eleanor right there, the one that started the whole thing.
Eleanor was born in the movies. In 1974, it was a yellow Mustang fastback that starred in one of the most iconic car chase scenes ever filmed. Haliki, the director and producer of the movie, did all the stunts himself, including a 128-foot jump that left him injured. No CGI, just pure, gritty driving. In 2000, Eleanor returned, this time as a sleek, silver and black Shelby-style GT500 in the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds. It was bold, aggressive, and unforgettable.
Suspect has increased his Naystar, sir, not an Apache. 150, 160. He's gone.
What's crazy is that only 12 real Eleanor cars were built for the movie. One was a prototype and 11 were stunt cars or scene cars. A few were destroyed and the rest were beat to hell. For instance, the iconic bridge jump scene in the movie, one specific stunt car was heavily modified with a reinforced chassis and suspension to survive the impact. Only 3 hero cars survived, and even that's debated. All of them were built by Cinema Vehicle Services in North Hollywood, the shop that built most of Hollywood's iconic cars. They're the ones who brought Eleanor to life. The cleanest Eleanor wasn't even in the movie. It was built after, just for Jerry Bruckheimer, the director of Gone in 60 Seconds. That was a real Shelby GT500. His car had an actual functioning side exit exhaust, which the movie cars didn't have, a functioning A-pillar fuel filler, functioning side vents, and an actual manual swap transmission. Even Nicolas Cage had one, until he had to sell it to settle a $6.3 million IRS debt. The movie made Eleanor a legend, and then came the demand. That's where unique performance entered the picture.
I'm Gary Gilby with Unique Performance. We are the builders of the Shelby Continuation Series cars.
Unique Performance was based in Farmers Branch, Texas. Started by Doug Hasty and his partners, they had one mission: to bring Eleanor dream to life. Not just a replica, but a licensed Shelby-backed continuation of the legendary GT500E as seen in Gone in 60 Seconds. They built everything from street-tuned 302s to full-blown 725 horsepower Super Snakes. New age suspension, brakes and drivetrains, all wrapped in a 60s silhouette. It was a wild mix of old and new. You're looking at car number 69 out of 75 that were actually licensed by Carroll Shelby to be built by Unique Performance. These weren't just movie cars anymore. Shelby himself had partnered with them. It was official. They were the first authorized GT500E builder. It felt like the dream was finally real.
Imagine spending 6 figures on an exotic car and then never receiving it. That's what Farmers Branch police say happened to customers who bought from a company called Unique Performance. Dozens of vintage cars have been confiscated.
But things got messy, real messy. They took in millions of deposits, but a lot of the cars were never delivered. Some weren't even started. In 2007, their shop was raided by police. 61 Mustangs seized, VIN tampering, title fraud, and just like that, the dream collapsed. Unique Performance filed for bankruptcy, Shelby pulled the plug, and a lot of people were left with nothing. But Eleanor lived on. Other companies like Fusion Motor Company and Classic Recreations picked up the license. But Unique Performance were the original ones who started the spark. And now for the 25th anniversary of the 2000 Gone in 60 Second movie, Cinema Muscle Recreation are bringing back 25 fully customizable Eleanors that you can order to your spec, starting at $500,000 US. Sam Salerno, the guy who built the originals, is leading the team once again, alongside Ray Claridge, the founder of Cinema Vehicle Services, who were the original people who built the movie cars for Gone in 60 Seconds. Their tagline says it best, celebrating 25 years of an icon, ageless, timeless Eleanor. So let's talk about what I did to this car to make it different from any other Eleanor that's out there. So I like the shape and profile of the 17-inch wheel that the car came with, but I wanted something that looked a little bit better. It filled up the wheel gap and was more flush with the fender. So I reached out to a local wheel manufacturer, Augment wheels, and then came out, measured the offset on the car, and we ended up making these 3-piece forged wheels with the Shelby logo in the center, threaded center cap, and they're directional as well, left and right, so they don't open up while the car is being driven. And we mounted the Toyo R888R in the front and in the rear as well. I didn't like the shape of the door handles that the car came with, so I went and done some research online and found these Ringbrothers billet aluminum door handles. I ordered the door lock pins from them as well as these and the window openers. And along with the door handles, I really didn't like how flimsy the factory hinges were, so I got those from Ringbrothers as well. And while we're here, you can see this NOS bottle. Unique Performance installed this back in the day. It's not hooked up, there's no lines, there's no nozzles, it's not plumbed at all. If I ever choose to do that, I can, but I like it the way it is, so for now that's how it's gonna stay. Now to go back to Ringbrothers, I also got their hood hinges. The factory ones that came with the car were really flimsy, the hood would shake all over. I didn't like it at all, so I wanted to get something more suitable, and those work just fine. Let's talk about this engine. This is a 408 cubic inch that started out as a 351 Windsor. It has forged pistons, rods, crank, and 2 summers ago we actually had to rebuild it because on a leisurely cruise with my wife, the camshaft decided to lose a couple of teeth, and that threw the timing off and the engine had to come apart. So we pulled everything out, we disassembled it, we inspected everything, had to get new bearings, main and rod. I got a new distributor, exactly the same as whatever was in the car before. Brand new cam, exact same spec. I wanted to keep all the parts original as the way the car came, built by Unique Performance. We did the rebuild on it 2 years ago, and ever since it's been running flawless. I ended up having to retune it because the map had a bunch of flat spots on it. You'd try to take off from a light and it would like die, wouldn't want to run properly. The throttle pedal wasn't smooth, it was just like, it didn't feel right. So when the motor was out and we did the rebuild, I figured I'm gonna retune the car. I put it on the dyno at the shop, dialed it in, and it's running perfect. Definitely very different than any other, modern car, I would say. This, you can hear every single rattle, every time you go over a bump, something rattles or hits somewhere. And that's kind of what gives this thing character too. It's obviously it's an old school car, it's a 1968, but it was rebuilt in early 2000s. So it has all the newer tech for suspension, different engine, more power than all those cars had in the 60s, which it makes it very unique in its own way. I enjoy it a lot driving it. It looks amazing too. It's like everywhere you go with this car, somebody will always compliment on it, how beautiful it is and how nice it is. So I really like it. Definitely like it a lot.
Gone in 80 seconds. 60, whatever it says. But I would just sweated like 20 pounds in this thing.
No AC?
I don't know, I didn't really try.
So we got the car at the shop, it's on the dyno. We are going to do a couple pulls so you guys can hear what the exhaust sounds like and see how much power it makes. No leaks anywhere, everything looks dry, so that's good. Yeah, so we dynoed it now, made 384.86, so call it 385 wheel horsepower, 427 foot-pounds, and we dynoed the car 2 years ago after we rebuilt it. It was 380 wheel, so it's still healthy, making pretty much the same power, same torque as it was right after the rebuild. Obviously I retuned the car after we rebuilt it because it wasn't really running good when I bought it, and you know, kind of just never really got a chance to work on it until obviously something broke, and then when it broke we had to fix everything. So that's it. It's making good power, it's healthy. It's supposed to make 400 and I think it's a 400 horsepower NA or 400 and change at the crank. It's 385 wheel, so it's on par with what it's supposed to be, maybe even a little bit more. Nice sunset, eh?